Chapter 17. Unquiet Doors. The sounds outside are growing louder. Some kind of parade? Maybe a corn maze or block party. Ben hops on his phone to see if there's something going on locally, but there's nothing to speak of. In the back of his mind, he knows what's going on, but he isn't going to admit that to himself just yet. He'll leave that to someone else. Before long, that someone comes in the form of the doorbell ringing. He peers through the peephole to see an unfamiliar face, a young man staring dumbly at nothing. He walks away from the door and sits quietly on the couch, but the doorbell rings again, more insistent this time. He ignores it, but the visitor persists. Finally, he gets up and swings the door open. A look of surprise lands on the young man's face as the door disappears before him. He stares at Ben for a moment before saying, "Large pepperoni?" The man isn't holding anything. "Sorry?" says Ben. The man says nothing and steps into the apartment. "How much this set you back?" "What are you doing?" asks Ben, heart beginning to pound. "Get out of my house." "Yeah, I'm going there next Saturday," the man responds. That's when Ben notices the fleshy lump peeking out from under the man's hair. "Oh, hell no," Ben cries, grabbing the man by the arm and dragging him out of the house. The man squeals in terror as Ben throws him onto the landing and slams the door in his face. He locks the deadbolt and returns to the couch, searing with adrenaline. The doorbell rings again, but Ben jams a pair of headphones in his ears. "Not today, not today," he repeats to himself. Little cries rise up from the hidden layers of his mind, but he beats them back down into the abyss. "Not today." Ding, ding, ding. He can still hear the doorbell ringing over the blare of the music in his ears. He surrenders to reality. Pulling out his phone, he sends a text to Megan. Something bad is happening. Ding, ding. A few agonizing moments pass before he gets a response. "I know." He responds immediately. "Are you okay out there?" "They can't get into my car." "Where are you?" "On my way back to the school." "Maybe the professor can help." "Hopefully." He debates hopping in his own car and chasing after. He peers out his window to evaluate the situation. Several of the infected are wandering around below. "There aren't that many of them," he reasons. "You could run past them. You can take them on if necessary." Then the unthinkable happens. Down below, two of the wandering creatures stop and look at each other without expression. Suddenly, their bodies begin to twitch and contort. Tentacles tear through each of their skins and reach forth, tangling with one another. The two bodies squeeze together in an unholy embrace. Ben watches in shock as their flesh begins to blend, their features Picassoing into a demented horror. He shuts the blinds. Not today. He sits down on the couch and stays there, staring at the wall, too afraid to do anything but listen to the alien noises of the infected outside. After a while, the doorbell rings again. He wants to scream, "Go away," but doesn't have the will to push the words out of his throat. He ignores the ringing and continues to stare at nothing. "Ben," comes a voice from behind the door. "Open up." The visitor knocks hard 3 times. "Larry?" he says, getting up. He approaches the door, but a terrified thought bounces into his consciousness. What if he's infected? He hesitates, hand inches from the door handle. There must be some way to test it. He thinks for a while, then peers through the peephole. Larry stands there with 2 other officers Ben doesn't recognize. They all look rather frightened, which he supposes is a good sign. Larry leans toward the door and says, "Ben, it's me. I'm not infected. Are you all right in there? Please let us in." Ben speaks up. "Why aren't they attacking you?" Larry turns to look over the railing and down the stairs of the infected wandering below. "I don't know. One of them asked if I'd found Jesus on the way up. I don't think they're dangerous." "That sounds unlikely," says Ben. He finally decides that no infected person could be speaking so eloquently, and he tentatively opens the door. They walk briskly into the room, and Ben shuts the door behind them. "What are you doing here?" "You got me," says one of the other officers. "What are we doing here, Larry?" A wounded expression crosses Larry's face. "Really, Ben? After everything?" Ben nods, not wanting this to turn emotional. Larry moves on. "Have you heard from the professor?" "No," says Ben, "but I was just talking to Megan." "Oh." Larry seems caught off guard. "You have her number?" Ben's throat tickles. He coughs. "Yeah?" "Never mind," Larry says. "Is she all right?" "I think so," Ben confirms. "She's at the college." "I'm calling her." Larry pulls out his phone. College sounds like a good place to rendezvous. Ben stirs. I don't think we should leave. I told you, they're not attacking anyone. We'll be fine. A tiny mumble comes from the phone against his ear. Meg, you alright? I'm with Ben. A series of mumbles. Yeah, just stay in your car for now. Mumble, mumble. I thought so too. Mumble. Right, we'll be there. One of the officers speaks up. We're leaving again? Larry doesn't respond, instead dialing another number on the phone. He holds it up to his ear and walks over to the kitchen area. After a moment of pacing, someone answers. Ben, says Larry. He sighs. Are you alright? An inaudible response. No, just stay there. Everything's gonna be fine, don't worry. Yeah, Larry laughs nervously. Yeah, now you see why. I'll explain everything soon. He laughs again. Tell me about it. I'm with Ben and some of the guys. Yes, we just need to stop somewhere. Of course. Don't worry, I'll see you soon. I love you. He hangs up and rejoins the others. Let's go.